At 82, this is my biggest regret about moving into a nursing home. If you're considering a nursing home, watch this first. Have you ever made a decision that you thought was right, only to realize later that it changed your life in ways you never expected? I did. At 82, I've seen and learned a lot about life, but there's one decision that I deeply regret: moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the best choice. My family reassured me that I'd be well taken care of, that I'd have everything I needed, and that life would be easier. I trusted them. But once I got here, I realized something heartbreaking. The reality was nothing like what I had imagined. If you or someone you love is considering moving into a nursing home, I urge you to listen to my story. Because this decision doesn't just change your living arrangements, it changes everything. And once you move in, getting out isn't as easy as you think. Here are 6 things I wish someone had told me before I moved in. These are the things I regret the most. And I hope that by sharing my story, you can make a better choice for yourself or your loved one. Let's get started. Regret number 1. Losing my independence. The biggest shock after moving into a nursing home wasn't the small room, the fixed meal times, or the unfamiliar faces. It was realizing that I had lost control over my own life. Before moving in, I had routines. I decided when to wake up, when to eat, and how to spend my time. If I wanted to take a walk, I could. If I wanted to cook my own meals, I did. If I wanted to sit quietly in my favorite chair with a book, no one stopped me. But inside the nursing home, I quickly learned that my time was no longer my own. Everything followed a schedule that wasn't mine. Breakfast was served at a set time, even if I wasn't hungry. The lights went out at a specific hour, whether I was ready for bed or not. If I wanted to go outside, I had to ask permission, and sometimes I had to wait until someone was available to help me. Even simple decisions, like what to eat or what to wear, felt like privileges rather than basic choices. I remember my first week here. I woke up, stretched, and reached for my book just like I used to at home. But then I looked around and realized this wasn't my home. My books, my favorite chair, the little comforts I had spent years collecting, they were all gone. In their place were sterile walls, a bed I didn't choose, and a feeling I couldn't shake. I was no longer in charge of my own life. And the hardest part, once you give up your independence, getting it back is nearly impossible. You learn to adapt because you have to. You stop arguing when they tell you what to eat. You stop asking if you can go for a walk whenever you want. You start to blend into their system. But in doing so, you start losing yourself. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the small freedoms that make your life yours? Because once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you ever imagined. Regret number 2, feeling forgotten. One of the hardest truths about moving into a nursing home is realizing that the world outside keeps moving without you. When I first moved in, my family reassured me that they'd visit often. And at first, they did. My daughter came once a week. My grandchildren visited on weekends. For a little while, I still felt connected to my old life. But over time, the visits became less frequent. My daughter started calling instead of coming. My grandkids got busy with school and work. Holidays were the hardest. Everyone promised to visit, but somehow, plans always changed at the last minute. And suddenly, I found myself sitting alone in my room, watching the days go by, waiting for someone to remember me. The truth is, it's not that my family stopped loving me. Life just got in the way. When you're no longer around every day, it's easy for people to assume you're doing fine, that you're adjusting, that you don't need as much attention. But the truth is, the longer you're in a nursing home, the easier it is for people to forget how much you still need them. I remember one evening, I sat in my room, holding my phone, debating whether to call my son. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to remind him that I was here, waiting for a visit that might never come. So I put the phone down, and that's when I realized this is my life now. Watching the days pass, hoping someone will remember me. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready for the loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, once you're out of sight, it's easier than you think to be out of mind. Regret number 3, losing my purpose. Before I moved into a nursing home, I had responsibilities. I had routines. I had hobbies. I had a reason to wake up every morning. Even small things, watering my plants, making my coffee, tidying up my space, gave my days meaning. But in the nursing home, those daily rituals disappeared. Meals were made for me. My room was cleaned by staff. The plants weren't mine to take care of. At first, I thought, this is nice. No chores, no responsibilities, just rest. But after a few weeks, I realized I was missing something. The days felt long and empty, and I saw it happening to others too. People who once had energy now spent their days staring at the walls, waiting for time to pass. There was a man named George, 84 years old. He had been a carpenter all his life. At home, he always had projects fixing things, building things. But here, no tools, no projects, nothing to create. I watched his hands, the same hands that once built furniture, repaired homes, and shaped wood, now resting idly in his lap. And one day, he looked at me and said, I feel useless. And I knew exactly what he meant. Because when you have nothing to take care of, nothing to look forward to, life starts to feel meaningless. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? Because once you move in, finding purpose isn't just about filling your time, it's about holding on to the things that make you feel alive. This is just the beginning. In the full script, I will go even deeper into the other major regrets: losing my privacy, my health declining faster than expected, and realizing that leaving was much harder than I thought. If you found this valuable, let me know, and I'll continue with the next sections. Would you like me to expand further?